What's going on, guys? And girls. I want to do this because it just keeps crossing my mind, and it's not directly to the person that keeps crossing my mind about, but it's to anybody that has had this issue or had to live with this. I'm sorry, I'm like in my town all this, but I want to get it out while I was fresh. There's a movie called A Little Chaos with Kate Winslet, and I forgot her counterpart's name in it, who I think is quite sexy, and I'm following on Instagram. I try to find his name by the end of this video. But anyway, in the movie, she loses her, not to tell it, but she loses her daughter and her husband. And I forget the particular details, but they're in a carriage. It's a period film. And she chases after the carriage for some reason either. I can't remember exactly. She didn't kiss her daughter goodbye, or she saw the wheel was wobbly. But long story short, the carriage flipped over and they both died. So with her new love interest, she was basically breaking down to him like, I'm flawed. These are my demons. This is what happened. And he takes her and he pins her down while she's like crying hysterically. And this is something that haunts her throughout the movie. And he said, is it just not enough to grieve? And he basically asked her in so many words, did you know the carriage was going to crash? Did you set the carriage up to crash? Did you take your hands yourself and murder them? Is it not just enough to grieve? And I know a lot of people who take the guilt of someone's death personally, as if you could have prevented it had you have known. Of course, who doesn't want a time machine to go back and say, hey, so-and-so's going down this day, go save them. My mother died 2007 of cancer. Throughout my mother's life and me being a young adult, I would look at her eat. The way she ate, what she ate, how much she ate, 2 plates most of the time, going for seconds, like a lot of us do. And then I even saw myself taking on some of her habits and knowing that that wasn't going to work. She already had diabetes. One day I asked my mother, I said, do you want us to bury you or burn you? When she got sick, that was just diabetes. When she got sick with cancer, it was stage 4. In the hospital, I wanted to do stuff. I wanted to find some natural healers on the West Coast. I wanted to, check out some juicing recipes for her. I wanted to try everything under the sun. Give her some calcium, protein and water. Calcium, protein, and water, which are the building blocks for your cell, any cell in your body. But people wouldn't bring me stuff. Nobody was answering the phone. The rest of my family was grieving. I didn't have a car. And she eventually passed. Now, I could not have stopped my mother from eating the way she was eating. I could not have made her work out. People do what the fuck they want to do. That's just one aspect. You can't stop somebody from hanging out with somebody else. Nowadays, if you really pay attention, somebody's walking in broad daylight, just walking their new puppy, get hit by a car or get shot. And you can't sit and take such blame. You're a control freak. That's what I'm going to tell you. You're a control freak and you're arrogant. You're arrogant to believe that you have that much control. We all walk through life day by day, second by second. Now it's over. Now it just happened again. There's no redos. There's no rewind buttons. So you are arrogant to think that there's something that you could have done to prevent a loss. A lot of people feel like, oh, well, somebody got a DUI or they died or something like that. And, oh, I could have took their keys. Well, next week, they might still be drinking and driving. You didn't necessarily save their life. You can't go back in time and say, I took the keys, I did that, I fixed it. Ooh, great, they're still with us. Because if it was their time to go, something might have happened next week. But I really, really want to tell you all that moment in that movie just got to me, because I know a lot of people who live with that guilt that they are responsible for someone's death inadvertently. Okay? When their death was didn't have anything to do with them. And they're trying to say, oh, it's my fault, or you take on the grief. Or I I didn't do something, or I did do something and I'm involved and it's my fault. Is it not enough to just grieve? Do not be so arrogant to believe that you had anything to do with it, unless you are the person who took your hands and ended that life. And I'm even talking about down to the possibility that a gun in your possession accidentally went off. I mean, I understand different little angles and details. I get it, but if you were not the hand that did the thing, even if you're driving, maybe you are the drunk driver and someone dies in the car with you. How many times have you driven before? How many times have they driven before? It sucks. I understand people take responsibility. I understand sometimes people don't take enough responsibility. But some situations, I'm going to say it again, is it just not enough to grieve? So forgive yourself for a thing that you had no control over, especially a thing that you had no control over. Let it go. It's enough sorrow. It's enough to deal with. It's enough to live with. Again, I say, is it not enough to grieve?